Hare Krishna. Contemplation on temptation changes our disposition from zero tolerance to zero resistance. When we resolve to give up some temptation, we might decide that I am going to have a zero tolerance approach to it. Say somebody recovering from addiction may be told, now don't go anywhere near your vulnerabilities. And if somehow it comes within, move away from it immediately. So a zero tolerance approach means that where there is danger, we don't give any scope for the danger to ambush us. And this is the safest approach. However, the opposite of zero tolerance is zero resistance. Say for example, if some terrorists are trying to infiltrate into a country, a zero tolerance approach means nobody without the proper documents, without having gone through the proper scrutiny process, absolutely nobody is allowed inside. Zero resistance means that whoever wants, they are let in. They are just a little pushy, they force themselves, then they are just passively allowed to come in. Now this zero resistance approach would lead to a country being run over by infiltrators. And suppose the same guards who had been told to have a zero tolerance approach suddenly change to zero resistance, we would be shocked. What happened? We would say that have somehow these guards turned traitors, or have they been seduced? So it would be a matter of great alarm. So if we consider our consciousness like the territory to be guarded, then we often with our intelligence guard the territory of our consciousness and decide that we will have a zero tolerance approach toward our indulgences. Unfortunately, when the temptation comes up, the temptation seems so attractive, and if we contemplate on it, suppose some infiltrators are very sweet talkers, and they talk so sweetly that the guards voluntarily put down their guns and welcome the infiltrators. So we would consider such guards as foolish, and such infiltrators who can sweet talk so seductively will be considered very dangerous. So temptation is like that seductive sweet talker. When temptation comes in front of us, if we start contemplating it, then that contemplation, it erodes our defenses. We start thinking, oh, this is so enjoyable. Why should I not indulge in it? And thus we give in. Krishna talks about this dynamic when he says that if our intelligence is alert, if we are in the mode of goodness, then we see that even if there is sweet talking, that there is that this person is a traitor, and there's a long tail of trouble behind it. This is the vision in the mode of goodness. Krishna talks about how we see sensual pleasures when we are in the mode of goodness. We see that Vishayendriya Sanyogad Yattadagre Amritopamam Pariname Vishamiva Tatsukham Raja Samsmritam. We see that although there is an initial nectar, that is like the sweet talking person, but this person has a knife, they're going to stab me from behind once I lower my guards. So Pariname Vishamiva, there's immense distress that comes thereafter. And now if we contemplate the initial nectar, we will get captivated. If we contemplate the eventual poison, we will stay alert. So the zero tolerance approach comes when we use our intelligence to remember that there is a long tail of poison. The zero resistance comes up when we look at the initial nectar and think, oh, why should I resist this? So if we contemplate the senses, Krishna says in 2.62 and 63, what happens is Dhyayato Vishayan Pumsah Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate Krodhat Bhavati Sammoha Sammohat Smriti Vibhrama Smriti Brahmashat Buddhinasho Buddhinashat Pranashyati. So Buddhinashat Pranashyati. Contemplation destroys our intelligence. And when the intelligence is destroyed, we become destroyed. So we need to not contemplate on the initial nectar of sense pleasure, but at all if I have to contemplate, we don't don't look at the sense pleasure, but with our intelligence remember the consequence, the eventual poison, and then we can maintain the zero tolerance approach and guard ourselves. Thank you. Hare Krishna.